Welcome back, everybody, to the Breakthrough Moment podcast, where we interview successful entrepreneurs and investors and ask them about their biggest breakthrough moment in their career, the moment that changed it all and took them into another level of insight or impact or success. And as they share that moment of breakthrough with us at home have breakthroughs as well. My name's Zach Deane with special guest Dallas Gordon. Welcome. How are you today? Where are you tuning in from?
I am doing amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. I am in Maryland.
Maryland, welcome.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the other side of the world. It's morning time for you, afternoon for me. So
Yes.
let's dive straight into this. The more that I learn about you, Dallas, the more I'm blown away by your story and your skill set. So I'm really excited to interview you. Let me do a quick little intro and we'll dive into your breakthrough moment. So for those of
Okay.
you at home, most entrepreneurs spend their lives asking for bigger opportunities, right? But Dallas asks a different question. Am I becoming the person who can actually sustain the success I'm asking for? Deep, very important, because success doesn't create capacity, capacity creates success. Get this. So, Goldman Sachs alumni, CEO, author, and consultant, Dallas has spent over a decade helping founders do the inner work before the big win arrives, before the big win arrives. Tongue twister.
Mhm.
Now, if you guys stick to the end, Dallas is going to share with you how she's built and sold 5 successful businesses. She'll share some insights into that. Obviously, we can't share all the secrets today, but so stick around to the end so you can get the goods on that. So when to sell and how to build a successful business in today's busy and crazy world. Dallas, welcome to the Breakthrough Moment podcast. What has been your
Thank
biggest
you.
breakthrough moment? Yeah, what has been the biggest breakthrough moment for you thus far?
My biggest breakthrough moment, and I've had a lot of them, but I would say my biggest breakthrough moment is realizing that my timeline is my own. My journey is my own. It's not anyone else's. I don't have to compare. I don't have to race. There's not a certain particular time frame that I have to achieve it all. I don't have to always even be achieving. Sometimes there are rest periods with success as well. And I think that once I realized all of that, I really came into a special kind of flow in my journey as a business owner when I just kind of let go, accepted where I am, take a few breaths. It's okay to pace myself instead of just running around like crazy. I think that that's the biggest breakthrough that I've experienced so
Right.
far.
It's so important because yeah, those time frames that are put on us from, I guess, parents or partners or the system or whatever it is, definitely create a lot of pressure and I guess stress over time. And that kind of like, yeah, the time frame. There's all these little subconscious like time frames. So tell us, what was the moment that that clicked for you? Was there a specific moment?
It was. There was a particular month, I don't remember what year it was, but that particular month, it seemed like nothing in my business was working. And I had always been like a hard worker, launching back to back to back to back different products, different programs, or the same programs over and over again. And I was used to everything, going a certain way because I had it down. I had a system. And this particular time, my tech wasn't working. I remember I was blocked off of Facebook. I couldn't post to any of my groups or pages. I felt like I had this overwhelming rush come over me that I was losing time with my kids. And I felt like when everything slowed down and stopped working, I started to focus more on some of the other things in my life that had broken down. Like, and it wasn't so much that I was not physically present with my children because they were both toddlers when I was running these businesses. And it was more not physical, but mental. Like, I wasn't present. I wasn't present. I wasn't fully present with my family a lot of times. So I felt like I was being left behind and missing memories, like being present with my memories during that time. So it just made me question a lot. I think everything broke down at one time, And I started to really think and reflect because I wasn't so busy for once to see what was actually happening with me. I know it's just a random moment. It's just a random moment in time where nothing was working. I started actually reflecting and having time to think about what was I building? How was it making me feel inside of it? What moments was I missing out on? Like, why was I even rushing so much? Why did I always needed to be a high achiever every second? Like, what was all of this coming from? And that process or that time frame made me shift a bit in how I was operating.
Did you figure out why you were doing it?
So yeah, I mean, I will tell you that not all at once, but over time, different reasons will come to me. Like I think part of it is from childhood. Like one parent being very much of a perfectionist and expecting you to perform, overperform in order to get attention. So that was, and I love both my parents dearly, but sometimes your parents, they do the best they can with the knowledge they have. And in doing the best they can, sometimes they put their stuff on you. And so I was looking for approval. I was looking for praise all over again, but from my audience, from my followers, from my clients. And once I got that praise, I was just like really hungry for the next round of applause. Like there were no breaks in between. I found myself like once I would hit certain milestones, I would just move the goalposts, but not in a healthy way. It's okay to move the goalposts, but if you aren't doing so in a healthy way and you aren't listening to yourself and you aren't resting in between, that can be a problem. So, yeah, I think a lot of it stems from childhood, taking some of those habits that you've always had right into adulthood, and you're doing things to feel a certain way. Like one of the questions that I've asked myself, and I think that a good question for anyone watching would be to ask yourself would be if no one was watching and none of this mattered, what would I do? What kind of work would I do? How would I show up? How often would I show up? What kind of person would I be if no one was really watching, if nobody cared, if none of this stuff mattered, gave me any sort of status? What would I do? And that question was also a game changer for me too, because half of that stuff I was working hard for, I really, really deep down inside, I didn't care about. It was just all about how it made me look. Like maybe if no one was watching, maybe you wouldn't aspire to drive as big of a car. Maybe you wouldn't aspire to live in as big of a house. Maybe you wouldn't have a need to achieve something 12 months in a year. Maybe you would take off some months if no one was watching. So I think some of the stuff that we do, we're doing it, to keep up with other people. We're not really doing it because we really want to be doing it, or we're doing it because of the feeling or the adrenaline we get when we do it, for some other reason that nobody knows, right? But what would we do differently if nobody was watching?
Powerful question. Powerful questions. This is super fascinating. Super cool. Thank you for sharing that and going there. It's really relevant. I think it's really important. And I'm curious to know what advice you have for, say, someone else who's maybe had the realization that maybe what they're doing right now is a result of maybe some past patterns or expectations, or maybe these parental, you know, like needing to perform or wanting validation or seeking love in these places. What advice do you have for them to support them during that time or help them have a breakthrough as well? Real quick, before we continue, a brief message from today's sponsor. If you're an entrepreneur wanting to grow your personal brand, authority, and business through podcasting, then check out findapodcast.io. As you know, the biggest entrepreneurs in the world, they book these massive podcast tours before a big product launch or an event or book, because podcasts build trust faster than anything else online today. So it's findapodcast.io. It helps you connect with a specific podcast in your niche. It writes the pitch, it follows up in this easy CRM. It truly does save time. So you just show up, do the podcast, and your business grows. If you're curious to learn more, book in a demo at findapodcast.io. Now, let's get back to the episode.
Well, we're all different. And when we're healing or we are identifying patterns from our past, we all require different things, whether that be therapy, whether that be a self help book could be somebody's breakthrough, some quiet time, maybe unplugging and just going on a vacation by yourself, journaling, everything out could be a breakthrough for some people. So, those are some suggestions, but tell I can't really suggest specifically what might help everybody, right? The same solution may not be, it's not a one size fit all solution, but I just think the recognizing that, hey, I'm operating from a space that it isn't, is something wrong here or is something out of place here. And I believe I need to heal it. I just think asking that question can send a person on an amazing journey because a lot of people are doing it and they are in very toxic or, chaotic work. They have chaotic work habits like I did, toxic, chaotic work habits. And when you're never taking time to pause and even recognize that there's an issue, it just continues to be ongoing. So I think asking the question is what opens you up to the answer. And the answer may look different for other people, but once you start seeking, the answer will come to you. That's probably the best response for that because I don't know. I know for me, I've always been in therapy. I've always been huge on self-help and I've always been huge on journaling, which the company I sold was actually a journaling subscription, right? So I've always been huge on that stuff. So I feel like putting the mirror up to myself and looking at myself in it is just something that I do on a daily basis. And I realize everybody doesn't do that, that it's different for everybody. So,
No, for sure. It's wildly confronting.
yeah.
The truth,
Yeah.
the truth will set us free, but it
hmm
also comes at a cost, right? It will
Yeah.
sting. And yeah, Michael Jackson said, I'm starting with the man in the mirror.
There we go.
Um,
It hurts,
you
but I'm
know,
going to start with him. Yep.
yeah, and ask and you shall receive, knock and it shall be open, right? So, but it,
hmm
it, it takes the intentional silent time to go, hang on a second, whoa, I'm going to stop going this way for a second. I'm going to knock on this door and what's happening here? Or, yeah, like you need to be curious. But if we're in the rat race, it's hard to stop, right? That momentum of being
hmm
stuck on the merry-go-round of the world.
Yeah,
Um,
and everything else, I just wanted to plug into something to think about is everything else stops at some point or changes at some point. The seasons change, the weather changes, the stock market changes, right? Like we have ups and downs in every single area of life. Like if you look at nature, it's ups and downs, it's ins and outs, it's ebbs and flows, but we refuse to give ourselves a break. Like we expect ourselves to be this machine, and so there is beauty in the still moments and there is beauty in the busy moments. And it's important to be taking both because there are important things that you need to learn in both seasons, whether it's slower or whether it's faster, whether it's stillness or whether you're in a heavy work season. All of them are necessary, just like nature. We're part of nature. So I don't know why we're so hard on ourselves, and we believe that we're supposed to just be this machine. We're supposed to go 365 days a year, and we're so hard on ourselves when our body says, no, you can go, but I'm not going with you, because you've been working too hard. So
for sure. The
something to
body can only
consider.
handle so much. The mind can only
Yeah.
handle so much. The spirit can only handle so much. And, it says that in the beginning, there's a whisper,
hmm
and then there's a quiet knock, and then there's a louder knock, and then there's the weather and the roof comes off, and some
hmm
people wake up and they have a heart attack because they haven't heard the whispers. They
Yep.
haven't slowed down to hear or really acknowledge, is this the right door I'm knocking on, or who's knocking, and what are the messages? Yeah, I've interviewed 3 people that have had a heart attack, kind of
Oh,
burnouts and fully,
wow.
you know, reassess their life. And the interesting thing was, and this is really important, is that the reason he was going so hard with life is to make money, right? He was like, I want to make
Mm,
more money and I want to create this, and this is the next achievement, that accomplishment, the timelines, things that you're talking about. But the real reason he didn't want to slow down is because he wasn't going to be loved by his family, right? He wasn't going to be able
mm,
to like have that, and he was worried that his income would come down. But with his heart attack, it forced him to stop. And then from there, he spent 50% less time at work. He moved house, he like restructured his health and fitness and everything, started spending more time with the family, and spent 50% less time at work, but he ended up only dropping 10% of his income. It wasn't a
Okay.
50% drop in income from 50% less work, it was only 10%. And so, yes,
I love
I
that.
feel this. Yeah, I was like, I feel the same way sometimes,
Mhm.
like, it's like, if I stop, I'll things are gonna fall
Mhm.
apart, but maybe if we slow down, maybe it will drop a little bit, but our, I guess, fulfillment in other areas will go through the roof, and health is so important. Um,
Yes.
you mentioned before that you're a launcher, and then you
Yeah.
launch things,
Yeah.
and that you have a system. There was a system to do that, on how to do that. So
Mhm.
tell us, what were you launching, and you know, do you have any tips on how to launch? Seems like you've done it a few times successfully. What's
Yeah.
the secret sauce?
So back in the day when I was in that machine mode, that's what we're gonna call it. Gonna call it machine mode. When I was in machine mode, most people know what that looks like, right? You're building your list strong, before you launch your product. You're getting excitement going, whatever that may mean. And depending on the business, because I've done things on the coaching and consulting side where I have had memberships and communities digitally, digital communities, and then I've had physical product memberships as well. So it looks a little different on both ends, but overall, it's of course drawing people in, collecting leads, getting them all in one space, and then you build anticipation and excitement as you are preparing for your launch date, right? You're getting your product ready, whether that's digital or physical, and you're dropping little hints as you go. You want to make sure that you have X amount of people on your list or ready or waiting or excited. You can even use or utilize having a list as a way to even test ideas. You can do surveys and things like that. You can ask questions about what they're looking for as you're refining your product ideas. So it's really great when you have actual people who are interested in your type of thing to ask questions to survey, to test, ideas on. Once you do all that, of course, you have your big launch date. You may have some prizes in there. You may have some rewards in there for early action takers, things like that. And then you go from there and you rinse and repeat, whether that's you're running ads or you're working with influencers to get traffic and you're partnering with different, avenues, whether it be meta ads or whether it be an influencer in your industry who can help you to get eyes on your product. And you just rinse and repeat that all the time. I think that what shifted in the way that I launch now is I don't really if it's a physical product, 100%, I launch in a very similar manner as to how I just described. If it is something involving my voice, whether it's coaching, speaking, all of those kind of things, a product around that side, it looks a lot different for me now because I'm not really launching. I'm not really launching. I'm more so announcing and inviting. So it's kind of like I'm doing the work. I'm showing up with my content on a consistent basis. So I have a consistent relationship with content generation. I'm serving my audience consistently on the platforms that feel great to me and my energy. And then I have a space open, I'm simply making the announcement and letting it go. So it feels a lot different because it's not really a race. There's not really a particular date that I have to have so many people. It's more relaxed and I feel like it's more in flow. And that's only because the way that I work has changed. The way that I live has changed. However, though, if I have a product coming out, I got a couple of products coming under my belt. I'm not going to put them out there yet. But when I do those, which isn't attached to my voice and isn't attached to how I like to serve people as far as coaching, absolutely. There will be ads that will be ran. There will be influencers that will be partnered with. There will be dates, times, email list bill, giveaways, surveys, all of those things. I'll do those again when it comes to physical products for sure.
Got it. Got it. So there's a different strategy to launch a different system for different products, different services,
Yes.
different
Yes.
approach. Got it.
Mhm.
Very cool. Very cool. Um, the world is changing so much with AI. It's changing everything, as you know. I'm so curious,
Mhm.
how is AI impacting your business? How are you using AI? Things like that.
Yeah, I'm just mindful of learning as much as I can about it. I want to work with it, not against it. And we've had quite a few technology surges, over the years. And you always know that person that doesn't know how to press enter on a computer because they refused to learn computers when, computers became hot. You don't want to be that person. Okay. You don't want to be that person at the grocery store trying to pay for something and it's all digital and there's no one there and you don't know what to do. You don't want to be that person when technology changes or shifts. You want to shift with it. You don't want to be left behind. Because you need to be able to function in this world. So, and in your business, you don't want for it to be a situation where because you refuse to use it, and to each their own, this is how I think. I don't want to refuse to use it. And then everyone is literally running circles around me. They're getting work done in record time. And I'm still stuck in the dark ages trying to press enter in backspace and trying to figure out how I'm going to get my work done. Like, I don't want to be that person. So I learn as much as I can. I'm like a sponge when it comes to AI. I'm pretty fascinated by it. And I use it as an assistant. And I think that it's an amazing opportunity to have it assisting you. You can have so much help. Like you might hire one actual person as your assistant and be able to have 5 to 10 more assistants with AI, being able to do different tasks for you that would take so much more time and money to get them done outside of it. So I think that it's important to learn and to move with the technology, not to get left behind. I don't think it serves you well to not be knowledgeable about it or to be left behind. That's my approach. Is I use it to my best advantage.
100%. It's kind of like, well, there's no going back. It's
Yeah.
like the invention of the wheel, there's no going back. Like, it's just not
Mhm.
happening. The
Yep.
smartphone, it's not changing. The internet, these things aren't going anywhere. And it's fascinating what's possible, and I think there's really gonna be a big divide, um, from people that are using it who then are not using it, and
Yeah.
businesses that really have that awareness on how to use it and the right people, as you said,
Mhm.
yeah, they're gonna catapult towards their results a lot quicker, and I'm not worried that it's gonna take away jobs. I used to be worried that it was gonna take away jobs. I'm not worried by that. There's gonna be other problems that need to be solved and other
Yeah.
things that other people can work and do. So but I'm more excited for entrepreneurship than ever in terms of
Mhm.
like thinking an idea, creating it, building it at a high level. It's real,
Yes.
but I think there's a bubble. I really do think there's this bubble. Like, remember how there was like the dot-com bubble? Like, it's kind of before our
Mhm.
time. It was like a little bit. It was this thing that happened, and it kind of crashed. I think there's going to be a bubble with AI as well,
Okay.
but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, and
like
I think that oh, go ahead.
because like some of these things on Instagram, these people saying, "Oh, you can do this, this, and this, and make this and this with AI," and then I try and do that, and it
Mhm.
looks like a 2-year-old created it. It's not as good as they say it is.
Right.
It's clickbait. So, I don't know.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is I think that AI is not as straightforward as people think, and that's why you need to educate yourself. Like, it's not just going to Google and typing in a question and getting an answer. It can be a lot more complex and it can give you a lot more. And the more that you can give it, the more it will give you. But if you don't know what to give it, because you have no idea what to ask, you have no idea how to prompt it, it's not going to give everybody the same results. So it's like you have to know what to ask it, how to ask it. You have to know certain prompts in order to get certain results. And if you're not thinking that way and you don't know what to think, you're not going to get those kind of results. So that's why it's important to learn as much as you can because the more you know, the more output, the better the output it can give you. 'Cause I'm prompting differently today than I was, when I first started using it. It's a whole different situation. I'm pretty sure what I'll be doing with it a year from now would be 100% different because I'm constantly learning and finding out what's possible. So I think people shouldn't be afraid of it. Work with it as a partner. Figure out
Yeah,
what's going on. Yeah.
definitely. Definitely. I'm so curious about these 5 businesses and then you selling the businesses, but before I ask that question, you spill the beans on that.
Okay.
You know, you mentioned that you had this, the machine. What did you call it? The machine?
The machine.
The the machine mode, and,
Mhm.
as we know in entrepreneurship, there's a lot of energy required to launch, as you said, there's a level of focus and passion and creativity, and it can be quite taxing, and so, now as you've gone through these highs and lows, what are some of the non-negotiables that you have that maintain your health? The things that
Mm.
maintain the energy, maintain the hustle, so to speak, maintain the machine, so that you can so that you can really, keep performing at a high level.
Okay. Well, I will say that I no longer operate the machine within the same way that I used to. And I will say that I was younger and I would consider myself a creativepreneur. I still am, right? But when I was younger and a bit less mature, I was a multitasker, a big time multitasker. And I like to be doing a lot of things at once. So it was nothing for me then to have like a successful coaching membership with 80 plus people or whatever in it, where I'm coaching them throughout the month, and to have like two different e-commerce stores, and be coaching people individually and at the same time be running a group coaching program. And I did have help. I've always from day one hired people to help me in my business. However, I would ask myself why I would burn out every few months, like completely burn out, like can't do anything, can't having brain fog, I can't think, I'm in a funk about everything. Like I would wonder why I would hit those. I would question myself about like, you're doing too much. So I think that as I've matured, I don't want to say I've grown older, but I've matured. I've matured. I realized that that was not sustainable. That what I was doing and the way that I was doing it, for me, it was not sustainable. So now I would say I move a bit slower. I do a lot more research before I say yes to things. I'm slower about saying yes to things. I'm doing a lot more processing of ideas prior to jumping in. Because some of the ideas I get, I have lots of them. Some of them I give them to clients. They're not my ideas. But if I don't take the time to process them, I wouldn't know that. I would just be thinking I'm supposed to start every business idea I ever get in my head. I'm the starter. I'm the one that's supposed to launch and start. Just because, okay, one of the best things I could say is just because you can, it does not mean that you should. I tell myself this all the time, self-talk. Just because you can do it, it doesn't mean that you should do it. I'm a very capable woman. It doesn't mean that because I have the capabilities that I should be taking action on every single idea. So I think what keeps me energized and vibrant is I work differently than most people. And some of my friends tease me and call me soft life, that I'm into the soft life and all this other stuff, right? Because yes, I do Pilates every single day or yoga 7 days a week. I go to a place in my community where I'm with other people and I do it faithfully every single day. So I make time for it. If I need to take a nap during the day, I do. I have off days that I call Dallas days, and my family knows it. Oh, we're not going to bother you today. It's a Dallas day. And on Dallas days, I go sometimes Dallas days looks like I rest. And I do have kids. So on that particular day, I'm not responsible for anybody or anything. You better get your own food. You're on your own. So I have days like that, but I also Dallas days also can mean I'm out exploring. I'm at an art museum. I'm out shopping. I'm reading out in it outside somewhere, in nature somewhere. But I'm doing whatever I want to do to charge and fill my own cup. And I have one of those days every week, at least one. So I work a lot differently too. I typically like to work in a different environment from home. Sometimes I do work at home, but I like to take myself to a different environment and an environment that I love. And I'm normally able to bang out some hours of work, and I'm able to, with AI, work very quickly. And so I'm typically able to do a few weeks to a month's worth of work in that session that I go and I bang it out, you know? So I work very differently from from a lot of the people around me because I feel like when I feel good, I'm energetic, I'm vibrant, I'm eating well, I'm in shape, I'm rested, then I can really charge up. My first ever mentor, I walked away with one piece of advice that changed my life. And what he said to me was slow down to speed up. Sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. So sometimes physically, you need to slow down so that your brain can supercharge the next world changing idea. And if you were running around and you were tired, you may not have been able to receive that idea. Talking about Michael Jackson, she mentioned Michael Jackson. I had just went like a couple of weeks to see the Michael Jackson movie. And at one part in the movie, he was looking for his next big song. He was like, you know, I'm going solo. I need a world changing sound. And it showed him floating in the pool, you know, in his room, just chilling out, like doing a lot of chilling out. Cause he was like, if I don't get this idea, God might give it to Prince. I got to make sure I'm ready to receive this idea. And sometimes that's how it works for us. We're really not in a space where we can receive a lot because we're really just too busy. We're not listening, you know, for our next big thing. We're not rested enough to receive it. We're not rested enough to take action on it. So I don't even know what the question was now, but so I hope that was the answer
Perfect.
about the
No, no, no.
mentor.
You mentioned it. Your non-negotiables, Pilates every day.
Okay,
Tick.
there we go. There we go. Yep.
No, it's so important. It's so important. I find, yeah, there are some key cues and key habits that allow us to perform at a high level, you know? And it sounds
Hmm.
like with the systems and what you just mentioned, being able to create a month's worth of work in like an afternoon or something. How,
Hmm.
like, what are you creating? Content or posts and scheduling, or like what does that look
Yeah.
like?
Content, posts, video ideas, SEO, optimizing, blog posts or videos. mm, Basically, I have everything that I need in a matter of seconds because I'm always talking to it. So the memory is great on it. So it remembers what we've been talking about. So it's able to really assist me. And so if you have all of your emails written for the month within a matter of 5 minutes, and now all you have to do is copy and paste into your email system and hit schedule, you're done in 5 minutes. If you can have all of your content written for you across platforms and repurposed in 10 minutes, and it's all there ready for your copying and pasting, the time you're taking, if you don't have like an assistant to pass it to, is only taking you another X amount of minutes to just copy, paste, automate, right? So I'm able to work a lot faster in less amount of time on the same time that I used to spend hours, days, or even to pass the information to an assistant, and that assistant is gonna take time. It's gonna take way more time either way, prior to now, you know?
Yeah,
So, yeah, I can bang out loads of work. Just give me 4 hours.
yeah,
I can bring out I
amazing.
won't have to worry about work for the next 2 weeks or so or more,
S-
you know?
So good. I know that there's also, you mentioned, or it's shared on your profile, God.
Mhm.
How has
Yes.
faith fueled you? And you know, what are some of the ways that you, I guess, bring faith to your work? And then the other question I had was like the times that you were the machine. Was that bringing inviting God more into your life, or was that maybe a
Ooh.
time when there was less? Oh God.
Wow, that is such a good question. So, a little backstory. I am what they call a PK. Y'all know what that means, a pastor's kid. So I I grew up at the altar. at the church. 7 days a week, we were at the church. It was a family business. We were at the church, okay? That was our second home. So that is kind of like the deep roots of my background. But I think that once you start to grow and you start to break away from that, there's always that point of where when you start to grow away from your family and how they've rooted you, you have to find out what God means to you, if anything. Because when you're a child, you're doing what you're taught to do or made to do. And I never forget going away to college and saying, I don't have to do this stuff anymore because my parents are home. I don't have to go to church. I don't have to pray if I don't want to. And I think that during that time, that was when I developed my strongest relationship with God because I realized that I don't know how people are doing this with no higher power. Okay. It brought me to my knees in prayer. I was like, I, I thought, what, I went like 2 weeks without God? No. Mm-mm. So I'm just sharing that because I feel that God has always had a strong influence in and over my life. And but what I will say that a lot of people do is we like to compartmentalize things. So you decide what areas of your life and or business that you want to allow God in, and you decide what areas in your life or business that you want to sit God out on this one. Because you don't for some reason make the connection that God is everything. Can actually talk to God in any area of my life in anything that I'm working on. I don't have to sit, God doesn't have to sit this one out, right? And so earlier on, when I was the machine, I literally was a control freak and had my hands all over everything all the time. And it just did not dawn on me that I was not inviting God in. So you're right. One of the light bulb that went off for me when I did take that pause and nothing started working was nothing is working because you haven't, this is God speaking. Nothing is working because you have not let me in. I'm glad it's not working. Have you seen that quote? I'm glad it's not working. Now you can let me work. Now you can let me work. So you do all you can because thank God. I'm so grateful. One thing that I do thank God for every day, I can use my hands well, my eyes, my mind, my mouth, my legs. Like everybody cannot use all of these body parts as easily as I can. So I'm able to show up to work every day with in full capacity of all of these things that I've been blessed with. But at the end of the day, as humans, we can only do but so much. So we do all we can and then we let go and let God. We post that content and then we let go and let God. We, develop that product idea and then we let go and let God. So it's a series of doing your part and letting go, but it's also asking and inviting God in to every single thing that you do. And that has really changed the way that I do everything. So it's not that I wasn't aware or in relationship with a higher power. It's just that I wasn't including. I was compartmentalized. I was like, this over here, I need to handle that. I know what's best. For whatever reason, I wasn't thinking to actually pray about this, to ask questions about this, to seek guidance about this thing. That's an amazing question. You see how I lit up over it.
Yeah, super interesting. And then there's
Yeah.
this theme of as I am interviewing so many amazing people, there's this underlying, and sometimes it doesn't come up. It comes up naturally, sometimes it doesn't, but it's like
Hmm.
70% of the people I interview talk about how faith and their relationship with God is a fundamental pillar of their breakthrough moment or them, you know, operating in the world today. It's an
Yeah.
incredibly important part of figuring out this wild experience we're all in, trying to go
Or-
through every day, doing the best we can. So
Yeah.
that is super cool. I want to know, like, how can people get in touch with you, and from who's listening, who should reach out to you the most? Like, if there's one specific type of person that you work with, who should be really getting in touch with? I'll put all your links around the video, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, people, company owners, business owners, and leaders who are looking to expand, whether it be in their confidence, their voice, or online in their digital marketing, people who are running product based businesses, coaches as well. People who are, let's see, would like to start a subscription business, whether that be just a digital membership or a physical product. I definitely love to help with that. Speaking opportunities, motivational speaking, teaching, interviews like this, all of those kind of things. I would love to help with and assist and speak. My website is dallasborder.com, but I know, Zach, that you have all of my links. Oh, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Everybody at home, please, if this is resonating with you, click on the link, get in touch, or who do you know who would benefit from getting in touch with Dallas? Uh, I'll put all the links around here. You guys get in touch. So Dallas, this theme of the podcast is the breakthrough moment. Okay, you've shared your breakthrough moment and some incredible insights. How? What would you impart with those who are listening today to help them have a breakthrough as well? You know, is there something they can do today, this week, this month, this year to also have an experience of a breakthrough?
Would say that action that you have been sitting on that makes you very, very uncomfortable, whether it be a small action or a big action, however you feel about it, many times that thing that makes you uncomfortable is going to give you that breakthrough moment. It's going to give you that breakthrough moment when you do it. And there have been some very small actions that I refuse to take, but it's pulling at me. And I know that I need to do it, or I know that I need to say it, or I need to put myself in a new type of situation around new type of people. And I'm very uncomfortable with it. I think when you give yourself that push, you say, you know what, I'm uncomfortable, but I'm going to put myself out there and do it anyway. That breakthrough is on the other side of that discomfort. That's the one thing I wanna leave. To go ahead and just do it. Challenge yourself to just do that one thing, whether big or small. It's gonna break you through. It's gonna put you on a new path. It's gonna give you a new answer. It's gonna put you around new people. It's gonna open you up to new things. It's gonna open certain doors. So do it. Do it. Don't wait. Do it and see what happens.
Yes, that should be my ringtone or messenger. Just do it, just do it, just do it. No, because to have a breakthrough isn't isn't necessarily a comfortable thing. But I really believe everyone's looking for a breakthrough. They know that there's an area of their life that they're stuck or feeling the pressure, or there's just enough is enough, or they've been doing that thing for just far too long. And it's the points that you mentioned today around just taking the time, asking those questions, journaling, praying, sitting with that and allowing the answers to form. And to do that is challenging. To listen is challenging, and then to actually take the action is challenging. But that's why we need the right people around us. And so, yeah, if you
Yeah.
guys are resonating with what Dallas is sharing, please reach out. This has been an amazing conversation. I've got a page of notes. Any final comments before we wrap it up?
Oh, the selling of the businesses. Did we talk
That's
about that?
right. Yes.
Did we
What
talk?
can you I just, I was teasing everybody, but what would be what on that topic, you successfully launched and sold 5 successful businesses. What can you share around this? This is fascinating.
Yes. I think that there isn't one particular way to run a business or to start a business or to have a business. Like, I think some people go into a business like this is just the one all be all. This is the only business I'm ever going to have. You're not locked in to only run one business for your full lifespan, like your whole lifetime. You don't have to do this. So when I first say is you don't have to do the same thing every day for the rest of your adult life if you don't want to. You don't have to. Now, some of the businesses that I sold, I started them for the purpose of selling them. That's a business in itself. So I would start the business, e-commerce businesses. A lot of those were e-commerce businesses, get them profitable. And then once I got them profitable, I would sell them to someone else. Because there are a lot of people, there are a whole community of people who don't want to start. They just want to go into something that's already running. They don't want to bootstrap. They don't want to start. They want for someone else to start it. So that's a whole business in itself. just in case some of you didn't know, right? So you can do that for a living if you want to. But I think it's, again, realizing that you don't have to be stuck doing the same thing forever and ever and ever. Sometimes you build businesses and you think it'll be like your lifetime business or the business that you're going to pass down to generations. And once the business grows to size, you realize you're inside of something that you don't love. Mm, that's what happened honestly with my last business that I sold. I ran it for 6 years. It was a family ran and operated business. Love the business until it grew to size. And I was like, this is not what I want. And I tried to make some adjustments, but it still really just wasn't what I wanted at this time in my life. So I let it go. So I think it's also having the ability to recognize within yourself when something is over and learning to let it go and release it to someone else. And it can bless somebody else for wherever they are in their journey with entrepreneurship. So that's the second thing. And then I think the third thing is you want to sell a successful business. You want to make sure that your business is profitable. When you're passing it to someone, like your numbers and everything about, they have to look really good on paper. And I will tell you that the last business I had, the entire time I ran the business, it wasn't always great looking. Like the numbers weren't always good on paper. So I will stick with it to get it to that or so that would it would be an attractive purchase for someone who was interested in buying it. And I know that that's like seems like common sense, but it's not because some people are running businesses that they really hate and it doesn't look good on paper and they're like, I wonder who could take this. That's not how it quite works. People want to buy something that looks attractive to them, especially on paper. And I think another thing is timing. When I first listed this business for sale a few years back, no one wanted to purchase it, like, no one budged. So I took it down. I took the listing down. I continued to run it for a few more years, and then I tried again, and there my buyer was pretty quickly. Pretty quickly. I think I sold it the day before Christmas. It was the greatest Christmas gift for me and my family. 'Cause we didn't have to pack orders anymore. We were excited, right? So I think timing is also everything. So if you have tried to sell a business before and it didn't work, maybe there's some things that need some brushing up on. Maybe you need to list to a new marketplace. Maybe there's something else that you can tweak and try it again because timing is everything. And just because you didn't sell it the first time, it doesn't mean the second, third, fourth time around, somebody may not be interested down the line, so don't give up. Yeah.
Amazing. The little things really do
Mhm.
add up, eh? 5
Yes.
times. I'm so impressed. That is incredible. So what's your next business? Are you gonna buy and is this a business that you're building to sell?
So the business that I'm running right now, which is a speaking, consulting, and teaching, is just something I've been doing for what? It's gotta be 13 years. So I'll probably always do this one. Right. And I love it the most. I will tell you that. But I do believe that I have a couple of physical products coming out that I will launch that I've been working on. Um, and there's also some real estate and things like that, like some other things I'm getting into, like offline that I've been working on as well that will be coming out, things like that.
I guess while I've got you here, I'm just so curious if you were to, I guess, you don't have to tell us the products that you're gonna launch and these different things. I know that's a secret, but, if you were starting again from scratch and you had 30 days to get to your goals as soon as possible, what would you do? How would you launch it? If it's a digital product or physical product, you know, is there a different roadmap? Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. What would you do if you were starting again and you had to really, kick some big goals?
Well, I don't know how this is gonna sound, but I'm just gonna put it out there. So the way that I like to work now is I like to get as much done as possible on the least amount of my effort as possible because you already know that I'm very soft now. So I value my Pilates time, my Dallas days, all that stuff. I don't really want to be stressed out over business. It's just not the season that I'm in. And I don't plan on ever returning there. So ads, paid advertising, I would be putting money into paid advertising. Influencers, I would have an entire list And AI can help with that now to generate an entire list of influencers who have bigger audiences than I do for that particular product, who would be happy to share that product with their list or with their YouTube audience. Or, I like to work with a lot of YouTube influencers or TikTok influencers. I would have an entire list of influencers in that particular industry that I can talk to prior to launch, and I could get that product in their hands. So it would be a combination of list building on my own, like maybe putting up a video or some sort of picture giving the public an idea of what the product will look like. And we're launching soon. You don't want to miss out on this launch. I would use paid advertising to get as many people onto the list as possible. So I'd be running ads. I'd be reaching out to influencers, and I may even be partnering with marketplaces as well to sell my product, possibly like Amazon and other marketplaces. I mean, there are pros and cons with doing that, but everything would probably be paid. It would be paid advertising and collaborations and a lot less work on me. And also, if I were to work with a physical product, again, I probably would partner with a fulfillment center as well to fulfill those orders. Like, I wouldn't put that on me or my family again to have to do that unless it's just in the early stages. But so I would be thinking about how I can outsource the promotion, even if it takes money to get it out there, not trying to become an influencer for my own business and have to be on camera constantly and, have to do everything myself. That's how I would do it differently within 30 days.
Super cool. It's always changing and, gosh, you gotta keep up with the times, hey? It's
Yeah.
to just think we can do things organically, it's just a lot harder. So, yeah, jumping in
Mhm.
with ads or influencers or YouTube or UGC and things like that these days is quite amazing what's possible,
Yeah.
and outsourcing so that you can have those extra Pilates lessons and
Right.
times at the cafe, right?
Yeah, because
No,
like you said, organic is different now. It's good. It can work, but it's just gonna take you a lot more time to get that traction now. It's different, you know.
yeah. Facebook has changed, Instagram's changed. It's kinda like you need to find the next platform that's launching to get that organic. I don't know, it's not a bad strategy as well, hey? Like Threads, people use Threads. Do you use Threads? I don't even use Threads. I think it's
Barely.
shared. Yeah, like
People say it's amazing, and I don't see it yet, but, like, I use it every now and then, you know.
yeah. Yeah, amazing, amazing advice. This is pearls of wisdom. I appreciate your energy. Thank you for all your journey and all the things you've been through so you can add a lot of value today. Everybody, please, who do you know who would benefit from today's episode? Share this with them, help them have a breakthrough. And please, in the comments, share your aha moment, your lesson, your next step, or your breakthrough moment. We'd love to hear them as well. This has been an awesome conversation, Dallas. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Welcome. You're welcome. Everybody at home, we'll see you next time on the Breakthrough Moment podcast. Over and out, everyone. Thank you, Dallas.
Bye.